What is up, YouTube? Zuki1 here, and I am back with a brand new YouTube video. Today, first, don't think I forgot about the poll. Thank you all who participated. Very special thank you to all of you guys. So when I come back, after my injury is completely healed, I'm almost completely healed. At this point, the only thing that's keeping me from being able to game is one minor thing. It's so the doctors had to put this like string in my finger to help my finger bleed to get the pus out of my finger. It was really bad. Like, it was a really bad infection that I had in my finger, and so there was a lot of pus, and the doctors had to drain it. And to make sure I got all the pus out, they put the string in there to pretty much whenever the body would try to forcefully get the string out of my body, it will cause my finger to bleed, and then from me bleeding, it will push out more pus. Right now, I have no more pus inside my hand. There's no more infection. My hand is good, but I still got the string in there, and it's causing a lot of pain because it still scrapes and forces my hand to bleed. So yeah, I think I gotta go back to the doctor and get that removed, and then I'll be back to normal unless they cut me open, which I hope they don't do, because my skin has pretty much closed at this point. So hopefully they don't have to cut me open, but if they do, then I gotta heal again, and that'll delay gameplay footage for a little bit longer. So let's hope that's not the case. I'm fine. I can, they don't have to cut me open, but if they have to, then, I mean, there ain't really too much I can do about that, right? But anywho's, back to the video topic. Yeah. Today's video topic is on dating and just relationships in general. So this is one that I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit, just because I haven't had a real discussion video with you guys in a minute. Like, I think the last video I had was the one where I was talking about different family members and stuff like that from, like, I think it was my siblings, the last one I had. Correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all can definitely go check in the videos, but I think the last video I just like sat down and talked to you guys was probably in the sibling video. So I wanted to talk about relationships, not just girlfriend and boyfriends and or whatever somebody identify as, but just relationships in general, like with your family, your friends, and everything else. So what is a relationship, right? A relationship is what you define it to be, essentially. So a relationship can be it could be a mentorship where someone is teaching you something to help you improve, in different aspects of your life. It can be a parenting type of relationship where the people kind of similar to a mentor type of role, but a more closer type of aspect. So a mentor gets close to a certain extent, but a parenting type of relationship is even closer than that, if that makes any sense. So it's like the difference between you being able to tell someone you're stuck on the toilet and you telling someone, hey, I need to go use the restroom, right? There's two separate things. Like, it's certain levels of comfort that we have as people, and there's certain relationships that you have with people that makes you feel comfortable or not comfortable in those situations to talk about those types of things, right? So that's one of the key things. And then you have friendships, and those can get really tricky to navigate as well, because then you talk about best friends, close friends, party friend, so on and so forth, right? And then the last one, of course, is a relationship, like a physical relationship. Well, not so much a physical relationship, because that's probably not the best way to describe it, but yeah, I think that's probably the best way to describe it, because like a non-platonic relationship, so one that you can see yourself with the individual. That's how we're going to describe that one. There we go. All right, so we got the 4 relationships. We're going to go into description on how those relationships matter and how do you maintain those relationships and how do you improve those relationships. So a mentor type of relationship is very simple. A mentor wants to be able to be a part of that person's life and help influence that person to make better decisions or to help them get to the next stage of their life, right? They want to be a role player in this person's path to success, and they want to be able to see it happen, right? Which is why they ask to be invited to so many different types of things that you do in your life, or to understand and know what's the next event in your life from school or work, right? Because they want to actively help you get to that next level in their life, because they're at a point in their life where they're comfortable, they're good, they don't need to worry about anything, right? So they want to basically send that elevator downstairs and help bring somebody up. So with those types of relationships, the best things to do is just shut up and listen. Sometimes they'll tell you stuff that you already know, and you can be a little asshole and say, I already know, why are you telling me this? Or you can just shut up and just listen, right? It's so powerful. Like, I cannot stress this enough. It is super powerful to be able to just listen to someone. Like, don't say nothing, just listen, right? Listening to people helps you become a better speaker, actually, because you listen to how they talk and then you mimic some of those techniques because they did it really well. Or you hear stuff that you don't want to do, so now you don't do those things that they do. Like, you might hear someone say a lot of ums and uhs throughout their speech, and when that happens, you don't want to repeat those same mistakes, so you just don't do it, right? But you wouldn't know unless you were listening, right? So with a mentor, just shut up and listen. Even if you already know the answer, just shut up and listen. A lot of times you're going to end up in those types of relationships just being a yes man and just agreeing with everything that they have to say. But that's what you do, right? To maintain a healthy mentorship relationship, that's just pretty much what you do. You shut up and listen and just be a yes man. It's as simple as that. With a parenting type of relationship, those are a little bit more easier to navigate because everybody has parents, right? No one was born into this world without parents, obviously. That's not how humans work. So everybody got parents. That don't mean everybody got good parents, and that doesn't mean that everybody has both parents. But the advice that I'm going to give you is stuff that you can use to navigate whether you have one parent, both parents, but not for no parents, unfortunately. That's going to fit into one of the other categories that I brought up, like the mentorship relationship. Or, like, it can still fit within this bubble because if you don't have no parents, you still can use these techniques for your guardian, essentially. So, in a dual parent dynamic, both parents want to feel like they're contributing to the growth of the children. So if you just run to mom for everything, dad feels insignificant. But if you just run to dad for everything, mom feels insignificant, right? So you gotta have a good balance of going to both parents for all different types of issues. Now, obviously, if they direct you towards the other parent, then that's a different subject. But be in the habit of reaching out to both parents, right? By doing that, you empower both of them, and they both feel like they're good parents and they're contributing to the growth of their children, right? No parent feels insignificant, and that might increase your chances of getting better Christmas gifts. I'm just speaking from experience here, you know. But in all seriousness, you know, it's better to reach out to both, make them both feel like they're contributing to you because they're both there, right? They're both active in your life and they both care about you. So it's best to use that advantage that you have over some kids who don't have both. And that's not to say that kids who have one parent is at a disadvantage, but it definitely feels like it at times, right? It definitely feels like you're at a disadvantage just solely off the fact that you only have one parent you can go to and utilize for everything, right? From food to cleaning to help at homework, trying to ask for advice, right? Like, that's a lot to juggle. And if you have siblings, which most households do, right? If you got siblings, that's a lot to navigate, right? To try to manage not just one kid, but 2, 3, sometimes even 4 kids, right? That's a lot for one person to deal with. So, like, if you're in a dual parent dynamic, don't be afraid to utilize the other parent, right? Again, unless they send you towards the other parent because they don't feel comfortable or they just don't have the answer. And that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with not having the answer. Don't be afraid to be ignorant. But yeah, so in the dual parent dynamic, just make sure you reach out to both parents. I feel like that's probably the best bet that you can do. In the single parent dynamic, this one's going to sound a little weird, but try to mitigate your problems as much as you can. Realize which ones are super detrimentals and which ones you absolutely need your parent to help. And I know that sounds like, oh, well, I'm basically keeping secrets from my parent. What you're trying to do is help ease the load off your parent, because they have to take care of the house, they have to take care of the rent, they have to take care of literally all the responsibilities in the house, including taking care of you. So, you know, Jake or Jalissa not responding to your text, I don't know if that's super pertinent in comparison to I'm failing my math class and I need help, right? That being said, obviously your relationship problems are serious. Don't, undermine it. But I don't know if you need to go to your single parent to ask them for advice on that when they're busy struggling to try to balance the checkbook, trying to make sure you look good at school and you can still live a normal life as a child, right? So you don't have to worry about trying to find a job and help support the family and stuff. In a no parent type of dynamic, it's very simple. Treat that guardian like your parent, period. Because even though they're not your biological parent, they're doing everything in their power to make sure that you feel like you have a parent, that you feel like you have somebody who supports you and cares about you and wants you to be successful. So why not accept them, right? It's hard to know that parents might not be able to take care of you, or worse, they might not have wanted you. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you're here right now, and there are people here that want you, right? So accept them and let them help you, right? Communication is something I wanted to bring up in this topic, just because at the root of all of these relationships, friends, non-platonic relationships, parents, mentors, everything all comes back to communication. Not a single relationship will thrive, improve, or become better without it. You have to talk to people. You have to let them know how you feel. If you don't talk to them, then your relationships will not improve at all. nor will they become better. It's just like if you were playing an RPG and you wanted to improve your relationship with that character. That relationship with that character won't improve until you go talk to them. Same thing in real life. So think about that the next time you want to be able to improve a relationship with somebody that you know. The more you communicate with them, the stronger the bond. The stronger the bond, the better your relationship is going to be with that person. You can call me a nerd all you want, but that's real life, big dog. So don't be afraid. Go out there, go talk to somebody, and let them know how you feel. You know, especially if someone is sacrificing a lot to try to be, you know, your guardian or something like that. So those two are the most boring part, right? Your parents / mentor role. We're getting into the more, I guess, meaty part of the video, which is friendships and non-platonic relationships. So friendships is a very fickle thing. There are going to be times where you meet people that are your friends at that moment, and then you will never be friends with them ever again. And it's nothing you or they did at all. You just grow apart. There's nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. That shit just happens. You can get mad, you can be upset, you can be sad about it, but honestly, there's really not too much you can do about that. You just kind of move on and hope to find good friends like that person. What I feel like those relationships teach you is the importance of evaluating people and understanding what that person brings to the table in the relationship. Because in a friendship, you have to evaluate what this person is asking for in terms of being friends with you and what you're willing to give to be friends with them. Same thing, the same rule applies for relationships too, but it's a little bit different with that one. I'll get into that in just a few. But when it comes to friendships, you have to be very meticulous about the people you let into your circle. So when you go about evaluating people in terms of, is this person going to be a good friend or not, you have to evaluate what you get from this relationship and what they get from being friends with you. And then from there, you guys are able to rely on each other, to depend on each other, to support each other, right? And that's what good friendships are built on. And that's how you determine how strong or how weak a relationship is. Prime example, I have a best friend. His name is Ryan. Some of you guys might have seen him in some of my videos, and some of you guys may have seen him in the live streams. But that doesn't mean that he's here in all of my live streams, nor does that mean that I hang out with him every single day. Quite the opposite, actually. I see him quite infrequently, nor do I get to hang out with him that often either. But with that being said, that has not dampened nor strained our relationship at all. Quite the opposite, actually. We are just as close as we were many, many years ago. We've known each other for almost it's been 11 years that I've known that guy, right? So for 11 years, I've known this dude. And from the 11 years, we still are as tight as we were when we was in high school, seeing each other every single day. Why is that? Because I know what I bring to the table, and he knows what he brings to the table. And our relationship, both of us realized that we helped each other to the point where we are because we've never stopped supporting each other at all. And because of that, we've reached new heights of friendships that will solidify us to be friends forever. At least in my opinion, right? I could be wrong. Maybe 20 years from now, we might not be friends anymore. But I know right now, currently, 11 years in the pot, I don't feel any different than how I felt when the first time I met him and he invited me to come over to his house to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? So just keep that in mind. I don't say that to say look at everybody as loss and gains when you evaluate a friendship. I say that to say if you get into a friendship with somebody who doesn't value you, they're going to treat you like shit at all points in times throughout the relationship. They're going to talk to you like that. They're going to treat you like that. And you're never going to feel adequate. They're always going to put you down. And they're always going to make you feel like you're just a nuisance to them. But it's to empower them and to lower your self-esteem. And because you're so low in your self-esteem, you're going to follow them no matter what. And they're always going to have a lackey. Not a friend, a lackey. Someone who's willing to do whatever they ask, whenever they ask, just for the slightest bit of approval from them. Hey, good job. That, what you did right there, that was really cool. Right? Those little things boost your confidence so high. But you shouldn't seek approval from people who are not going to appreciate you. And that's what I mean by what you bring to the table and what they bring to the table. Evaluate that before you decide on whether or not if you want to be friends with that person. Because time can never be replaced, period. So if you invest a lot of time into people, you're going to be very sad if it doesn't work out with those people. Just as simple as that. So